That'd make a nice thumbnail, wouldn't it? Nice thumbnail. Woohoo! Well, as you guessed it, we're going to tear into this a little bit further. We're going to go ahead and take off the valve covers. We're going to take the heads off, which means we got to take the carburetor off, the exhaust off, the back of the tractor, all that stuff's got to come off. Get good access down to it, and we'll go ahead and see what these cylinders are like after seeing those spark plugs. So stay tuned. So I guess that's the plan. What I'm going to do, got a box here. I got some sandwich bags. What I'm going to do, because I don't have a manual yet, I've got a download PDF thing I was thinking about printing, but it's a lot of pages. I got to check, see if I got enough paper and ink. But this looks pretty simple on disassembly. I would need specs to, retorque, sequence, and so on. And adjust the valves. They were 6,000ths. Usually it's a little larger for the exhaust and the intake, but I think it's both 6. But I'll look that up. And the gaskets are simple. The wiring, I guess, the linkages we just got to be careful with. But if I put all the bolts in a baggie, label them, it's going to be so quick on assembly. I just label the bag and I'll say, valve cover bolts, head bolts, carb bolts, whatever, so that when I'm getting back in here and in between time, I got many other projects going on, I don't start losing parts and taking a long time. So I'll label them, place them in the box. We'll get the parts washer out, get them soaking, cleaned. I might consider an ultrasonic. A lot of people are getting these ultrasonic cleaners, like a Vivor. I'd be interested in that because that would save on cleanup. But we can struggle through this. And if I end up tearing this down farther, I'm going to pull the coils and the flywheel and everything back off there. I might as well paint everything. If the engine's good, I'll clean it up and paint it. This got moisture. I don't think these come painted to begin with, but just so the things are prettier, cleaner, and then we'll get a list of parts. But once I see them cylinder walls and I move the piston, see how much play is in the piston, find out if the piston's got damage or cracks or something wrong with it. I'm not going to buy anything until I get to that point. I think that makes sense. So far I have no investment in the engine, and I rented for free on the leak down tester here. And I'm going to keep going. I probably won't film it. I'm just going to take all these little parts off, move them up, move them out of the way, get all that kind of goodies, and do the parts bags. Well, you saw we got the heads off. Talking about exhaust problems, trying to get that inside bolt out. I looked underneath there. I tried a combination wrench, open end wrench, 1/4-inch drive socket, shallow, 1/4-inch deep, 3/8 shallow, 3/8 deep. Nothing would fit in there, fit up on that long stud. So I just cheated. I measured over, marked, and the frame rail, there's nothing in the way under there, and I drilled a hole so I can shove a socket straight up. I think that's a nice hack for this one, because when I go to put the muffler back on, I don't want to spend an hour doing it. So really fast. Now, a lot of oil come out of the head The gaskets, they look okay. I don't know here. But a lot of oil come out of here, like way over full of oil. And I'm still going back to this little pop it, tap it, whatever valve you want to call that thing in there, reed valve, of getting excess oil up in there and can't escape. I don't know. I think they have an upgrade kit. The piston, you can see the oil on it. The top of the pistons look good. Now what I want to do is move my carburetor over. I think another little hack is to leave your carb fully assembled and just kind of lift and hold it up out of the way. Cut down on the amount of parts you got to look for. And then got a little oily bath here, but that's all right. We can clean that up. I want to rotate the engine around. This one's on top dead center. So I just wanted to see how much play in the cylinder, and there's nothing. Now when you start to back it down, you move it down a little bit, there should be play side to side. That's what the rings are supposed to do, you know. But this one is partially down. I think what I'll do, I gotta hold this carburetor up. Wish I had a helper here. I'm gonna rotate it and move it down and check the cylinder walls here. Check it out. The crosshatch, no scratches. Cylinder 1, nothing. Looks amazing in there. And this cylinder's on its way down, so we'll check this one next. All right, cylinder 2's down. It's gonna get you in there better. Oh, the light. Okay, this one, no scratching. Cylinder walls are super nice. I expected some scratching, and I don't see anything. And so like I said, I'm back to something simple on this. It's got to be like the reed valve. Something's pushing up all this oil. I didn't see a blown head gasket, but the Briggs, the different design on that is there's a head bolt here, here, and here on this model, and out here's two. On the Briggs, there's nothing in the middle for like a 5-inch span, and it usually blows right from here right into the oil, and it goes right out the exhaust. I think it's exhaust valve. I can't remember, but it usually blows right there. This has that extra head bolt right where you need it. And, you know, I'm going to check the gaskets over super good and start cleaning everything, but like I said, I'm kind of excited not seeing a problem. What I'll do is I'll use Scotch-Brite or fine sandpaper, and I want to clean the head up here, get it spotless, and then I want to maybe use a small brush wheel, clean the top of the pistons off, and then we're going to look at the heads. We'll see what's going on with them. I don't know if we have any problems here. The locator pin up here, the locator pin down there, everything looks correct on it. So nothing going on yet with the cylinders, and that was the good news. There's no hole in the block. I doubt the piston's broken, because if it was, or the lands are broke between the rings, your compression and your oil rings, if that was, you know, pre-detonating or something, and it would break the piston, it would scratch them cylinder walls, and you know, you can't have them that shiny. I mean, you couldn't even see a line in them. They're so nice. So I think I'll just go, let's see here. Maybe I'll let this just rest, and I'll get the heads up here where we can look at them. So finally, some type of work table in here is going to be a help. Get a little more comfortable. Can see it closer under the bright light here, whatever project we're dealing with. This is the right head. Right here, see all that oil in there? Huge amount of oil in the cylinders. These gaskets are all metal. Some have, you know, some have a rubber type material and then just a metal ring, but these are all metal with a coating. I was really hoping to physically see a blown head gasket. So I don't think we have a cylinder related problem. The only thing we can't check without more disassembly is what the ring, the piston ring end gap is. They're not on, I don't know what the spec is on it. Probably, 2 to 5 thousandths or something, but it could be a big ring end gap and then oil's escaping and it's pushing oil into the cylinder. But I would think if it was that big of a gap, that means there'd be a lot of play in the cylinder and there'd be some scratching going on. And the cylinders look awesome. And like I said, the rest of the machine is so nice that it looks like it's been taken care of. I think the fuel pump might have went bad. And it's just dumping gas in there. And like I said, I'm labeling all the parts, keeping them separate till I can, see something wrong. I want to take and I don't have a valve spring compressor. I could buy one, but I think I can use a regular tools to depress this and just pull the keepers out and lower the valves, keep them separate. I want to see if the guides are worn. I want to see if the valve seals are worn and find out why the oil's getting in there. And like I said, it's not around the intake, it's around the exhausts on both. So I'll get cleaning these up. I'll figure out how I'm going to get them off in there. And I can just use a clamp, something, and I'll get them off in there so I can inspect the valves and the guides and the seals. So I put a rag underneath here to hold the valve, and I push down, and I'm using my rear drum brake tool, and it popped the keepers off. And here's your spring holder, and then here's your spring. I want to do these one at a time and keep them separate because, like I said, I want to make sure I find the problem if there is one here. So that's our exhaust valve, and this is the cylinder 2, the right hand bank, the one that, and I put a little 2 on it, that I think had the most oil coming out of this. This is out of the muffler. Look how black that is. And I didn't know if it's more unburnt fuel versus oil. So let's see how much play is in this. Wiggling it back and forth. There is a little bit. You can feel it. I move it. Yeah, you can see it. Just a little bit. And pull that down out. Do this slow, everything slow enough that I can understand something here. Look at the sealing area without wiping too much off. Sealing against the guide. There's a little bit of, looks like a little bit of pitting, maybe. And it's not hitting at the top, it's not hitting the bottom, it's hitting in the middle, which is good. Needs to be brush wheeled. The guide is right here. It's not ripped. The guide is right here. The seal is right here in the guide, and it's not ripped, if that means anything. Now here's our guide, and the way this cylinder sets, this is the down, the exhaust is down. The down is really shiny right here on the bottom edge, and the top edge is not as shiny. There's been a lot of oil going through that. But if you can see the seat area, it's pretty clean. I might pick up some lapping compound and Just lap these. We remember we had 160, 165 compression, and doing a leak down, the best I could do the leak down is the valves felt like they seated well. So I think what I'll do is I'll keep all these parts together and I'll put them in my bags and label them. Then we go ahead and clean things up. And like I said, I didn't see any damage blowing compression into anywhere. So I don't see anything wrong with the head. And it didn't look like the heads had been taken off. Everything looked original. But I just take, like, this is an old sock actually, and just stick it underneath here to hold the valve. Come in, press down, hear that pop. The keepers are loose. I just take and tip them off like that. We'll keep our exhaust over here, intake over here. That worked pretty slick. The keepers look good. Spring. And like I said, the way it's oriented, the intake valve's way up in the air. The oil level was so high in it, it's right here at the valve. There's a brown spot there. Design, maybe they thought that it would keep the valve cooler, floating in oil more. Maybe why they design it that way, who knows? But I wouldn't want them in that much oil worried about a guide leak or something, you know. Let's take this one, the intake, out. And a little bit of play. There has to be play or they're going to be seized up when it warms up, you know. Look how clean the inside of that intake is. It's super clean. It's so clean in there that then the intake, that oil probably was not coming in there. It's just the exhaust. I think fuel got in the oil, diluted the oil, and the oil is floating, you know, or everything's floating in oil that's watered down, thinned up with gasoline, and it's so black. And these people told me that they had changed the oil right there in the shop. And I went in the shop and looked around, and it was almost a brand new building. And it was huge. They had several vans. They looked like Amazon delivery trucks. They were washing them. They were clean inside. They had tool racks and supply racks. Everything was in its spot. He gave me a little tour. And he had brand new mowers in there, old mowers, all kinds of machines, razor in there. A lot of equipment. The stuff looked brand new, and this was sitting there next to it. And I thought right away that maybe they maintain things pretty well. You know, you go somewhere and it's outside in the lawn and the dirt and the firewood's leaning against it. That's the one you want to stay away from, you know. What do you think, Tiger? You want to go out? He's in the garage here walking around. But the valves, look how nice this one looks. That intake valve is seating amazing. Exactly where it should. The guide looks good. It's only the exhaust, and then both of them look the same. So I'm sure there's nothing really wrong here. I'll clean everything up. We'll put things back together, and we'll clean the heads, get everything going. Before I start buying, you know, like a gasket kit, I want to make sure there's nothing else wrong here. All right, I got valve cover cleaned up. The seals are nice and soft. That doesn't say much, but I still want to put them on while we're down this far. Got the surfaces cleaned up. The guides look really good. Super shiny. I just got a little debris in there. I used a little light brush wheel on it. And I think I want to put this in the parts cleaner, clean them up nice. Same with this head. All my parts are labeled in baggies. Separate so I can put them in the same spot. The seats look really good. Mating surfaces look good. Same thing, the seals are soft. 20 bucks, probably ought to replace them, $5 a piece. And oil's expensive now, $5 a quart, so cheap insurance to make sure that's not the problem. And I'll clean these up. And now I'm going to clean up the cylinder block. I think I'm going to do the same thing, just go through and check everything and then get all the gasket material off and get these mating surfaces clean. Take the carburetor intake, I should say, the intake gaskets off. The carburetor gasket I might leave attached. And then I do want to look at the bowl. I might as well take the bowl off and see what condition. If there's a bunch of crud in there, it could be the needle stuck and the fuel would flow and just run right down into the engine. And then what else? I don't know. I'm just going to keep cleaning and get as far as we can here today. Alright, look how nice this cleaned up. I see no damage anywhere. I want to look up that number to find out if it's stock. Probably is, not bored over. The mating surfaces are clean. The cylinder walls look excellent. See the reflection in them even. So no scoring. The reason I can't turn over so great is I still got the carburetor hooking on right here, but so I got to unhook that hole. Well, I guess we're at a standstill. I would just want to check the pistons, see if they're stock. They probably are. And then I'll get a material list. I don't want to clean any of this up yet. I'm going to take it out and pressure wash it after we get the heads on. So I can work on that float bowl, and I'll pop that off and see what crusties are in that. Clean it, put that back together. And the carburetors for these, are kind of reasonable. OEM's a little more. It's right on the back. It's not a big deal. I think a fuel shutoff's important. I got my list over there. I'm recording every little thing that I come across so I don't forget. The parts I need. The part numbers of everything that I can find. And all my parts are in baggies labeled. So it should be easy assembly. And I'll go get the parts washer, get that out, get these cleaned up, and make my decisions on what we're ordering. So I think I'm going to leave this video at that. You follow along in the series, and we'll see if we can fix this on a budget. And this machine is definitely worth fixing. And, probably if you need an engine, $2,000 is not a bad investment for a, $6,000 machine. So I got it for a steal. The guy was, fed up. He said, I can't have it. He started in his shop and it was a cloud in there. And he says, it's going down the road. And I said, all right, I'll take it. So follow along in the series. When I learn more, I'll post more and we'll do an assembly, put this back together. Thanks for watching.